It is May the 4th, 2021. I'm Andy, and this is the Minorcan Mullet Report from the Golden Ray Wreck Site in the St.simons Sound. First stop today was back out at the port where crews were continuing to tidy up Section 7 in its anticipated transit from the Port of Brunswick to Gibson, Louisiana for continued salvage. There will be processed as the other sections have been as they have left Brunswick. That's where they head to, over the Gulf of Mexico, around Florida, long trip. And to make that long trip, they've really got to make sure that this section is secured to the barge, and also anything loose is taken out of the ship so it doesn't fall in transit and cause a problem. So we saw one of the blue grapples that we have seen before. We've seen this in operation, doing the weight shedding operation that was taking place out at the site when they were taking what cars they could get to and loose deck pieces and things out of these sections before they lifted them in an effort to reduce some of the weight. They had the machine on the deck of the barge, and we caught it in action. Thought you guys might enjoy seeing this piece of equipment in its natural environment here, if you will, moving these cars. I'm not so sure that on the barge is its natural environment, but the operator here is very skilled, and it looks like they know exactly what they're doing. They've had some experience on moving platforms, working off the barges on these pieces of the ship. But as he gets in here with this machine to start pulling out some of these cars, you can see that they're not in there very well. One of them we saw two of them. We caught one of them. It just flies out, slides right out as soon as it's touched. It seems like with this grapple machine, out it comes and right down onto the deck. Hits it pretty hard, comes apart. You guys are going to see that coming up here. Now, on the other side of the transport barge, there is a hopper barge, and they were taking these pieces of the car and they were stacking them nice and neat over in the hopper barge. And where these pieces go, we're not sure. We're not sure if these will go, these cars will go back to the local facility, or whether they will be transported elsewhere for further processing or destruction or whatever it is that will become of these. We don't think that, for insurance reasons and the liability issues that could come up if some of these pieces, parts, tires, whatever, were put onto another passenger vehicle and caused an accident, you can imagine the kind of liability issues that some insurance company could face. So we're pretty confident that everything we see that is coming off of these ships is going to be scrapped. Just unfortunately, the way things happen. And look at there. Wow, right down onto the deck. We saw that happen a couple times, but we got video there. They're working and they're getting these things out of there. You can understand now, seeing that, how some of these cars, moving them out now is so important before they have problems out in the open sea once they start the voyage around to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, we really have no idea exactly how many vehicles will be taken out. I can only assume here that this is something that they look at as they go and what looks like it's may possibly cause a problem. You see here just another one comes out with that car as it's pulled out. For the safety of the guys that are pulling these sections over to Gibson, Louisiana, very important to get the load as secure as possible. We know that sea fastening is ongoing. There'll be welding braces to the ship and to the barge to sturdy this thing up to get it ready. And of course, when they make the trip, they're looking at the weather and they're trying to find the best window where they get a prolonged period. Now, we've seen this trip typically take about 10 days out in the sea to make it around to Louisiana. So as that happens, as they want to make sure that they get the best possible window of weather, and they'll do that. And once this barge is ready to go, when they see they have decent enough weather, they will get this thing headed over there to the Gulf of Mexico, and it'll be taken over to the scrap facility, and those folks over there will do what they do and start the dismantling process and the removal of the rest of the cargo. Now, in some of the comments we've been seeing on the channel, we know a lot of folks are kind of joining the channel here and they're throwing questions up. Hey, if you guys have the opportunity, go back and look at the series of videos that we've done on the Golden Ray wreck here. We've got out 100 or more videos from day one, and probably most of your questions you have are probably been answered in there somewhere in those videos. But they're we've covered this thing for quite a while, and it's riveting video. The operation that goes on with this removal is just something to see. Do yourself a favor, catch those videos and take a look at them, and maybe some of the story will become a little more clear for you. All right, going back to our poll that we had under the community tab of the channel's page, we asked, when will they start on the next section? Well, we now know that section will be section number 3. They're getting ready to start that section. But today's the 4th of May, and the first question was before May 5th, which is today. And out of 158 votes, 16% thought that they'd see that activity start, the cutting start, before May 5th. And there's 56%, so well over half, say it's going to be between the 5th and the 10th. And it looks like that's probably going to be the window. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Again, that poll was underneath the community tab of the channel page. If you guys want to check that out, still have a couple options there if you guys want to participate in the poll. All right, so out at the site today, once we got out there, we could see that the VB has been moved over section 3. That's the forward section that's left of the Golden Ray. They haven't hooked anything up yet, but it looks like it's in position, roughly where it should be for that activity to start hooking it up. Now, what we also expect them to do is to go ahead and replace the cutting chain. Instead of starting the cut with this lower tension rated chain, go directly to that higher rated chain, that R5 that they implemented to complete the cut of section 7 through that reinforcement there. We expect them to go ahead and make that happen, and we'll probably see that happen before they start cutting. But it looks like they're very close to getting things hooked up and getting cutting started on section 3. Also, section 3, we expect them to start utilizing those dry dock systems, and we won't see any more of the barges, and these sections will go directly onto a dry dock system that they have a couple of them now already in place in Brunswick. One of them has been modified with a little bit of a cradle to rest what we're thinking is going to be this section on, and then the rest of it should be just a flat side, and those will go directly down onto the dry docks. Well, that's all the time we've got today for the report. We'd like to ask you, if you haven't done it yet, click on that subscribe button for us. Send us some comments. Most of all, we want you guys to stay safe out there. Also want to say happy birthday to Mom. We miss you.